Welcome to the first episode of the Southeast Tennessee Prep Hoops podcast. I've got Josh Templeton with me. I am Tommy Brown. We are excited to get this thing kicked off. We are live on Facebook, and we've got a big show tonight. Josh, you ready to roll, buddy?
What's up, everybody?
It's great to see everybody or hear everybody.
I'm ready.
You're ready to roll. So Josh, what are we doing here, man? I mean, what's the purpose
ready
of
to
it?
roll.
You're ready to roll. What's the purpose of what we're doing? This is your idea. So I'm just trying to help because that's what I do. I help.
I just
so
want to talk hoops and be a fan again. Honestly, I want to be a fan. Like, I enjoy Chattanooga football. I love coaching Chattanooga, and I love all the coaches here. And I think that they should get more coverage.
That's
we're going to cover it.
That is 100% true. We need more coverage for basketball, and that's why I like the idea. And I think we've got a great show tonight. We got Legend of the Game, which we'll have Legend of the Week. We've got Brandon Bourne starting us off as our first interview. Then at 7:00, we have Steve Robinson of McCallie. And then the head coach there. And then we've got Will Campbell, the head coach of Walker Valley. Then at 7:30, we got Jonathan Adams and Cole McCormick. So that's our show, man. It's pretty good. Hopefully everybody can get in and get on time. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Full docket today. I'm looking forward to talking to all these guys. You know that it's Steve Robinson, right? Not Robinson. I don't know.
How did I spell it?
I thought you said Robinson.
What is it?
It's Robinson.
Robinson. What's the difference?
There's no N. It's not Robinson.
That does. If there was no N, it'd be Robiso. I failed.
No, there's no N in Robinson in the middle. Yeah.
Robinson. Oh,
it's Robinson. Robinson.
Okay. I failed phonics in high school or junior or elementary.
We got to get our legends. We got to get our legends right because Steve was a legend playing before he was a legend coaching. So.
I was dyslexic. So what? Yeah, but he's not from Chattanooga area. He doesn't count, does he?
Steve?
Yeah, he's not
from played college basketball.
We're not talking about college basketball guys here.
Make him any less a legend.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so is anybody ever played at UTC or that's from? But we're talking about we're promoting local guys like yourself, like me, like Brandon Bourne. So Josh, let's talk these rankings we got.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So I think you're lagging a little bit. I don't know what it is. It's you've got all this big technology you bought. I think it's maybe not compatible with my JV stuff I've got. So.
I don't think so. I don't have a whole lot of great technology. Is it still lagging?
No, you were good right there. Maybe I'm just not letting you finish.
Okay, I don't. Yeah, I'm fumbling around trying to figure out how to do all this stuff too. So,
well, I think I made
it's all good.
Probably part of the issue is I'm not letting you complete your sentences. That might be part of the problem. Hey, so let's talk these rankings. Who's number one? Christian Heritage, right?
Number one, we got Christian Heritage, right?
We do. And the committee came up with Christian Heritage. I feel like there's kind of three teams that probably could have been number one. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Baylor.
I think that Baylor got a little slept on in the rankings, TB.
You're the one who did it, really. Not me. I mean, you're the committee.
Not.
The committee did. The committee
I
came
did
up
not
with
do that.
I don't want to hear it from the Baylor people. I've already actually heard.
I had everyone at number one.
You had everyone at number one? Yeah, me too. So actually, what's happening? Your voice is sounding good, but you got some kind of delay. Like you talk, and then the words come out later. I think that's what it is.
Well, all that really matters here is the words, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it is. We do have video going on too, so on Facebook. All right, so hey, the ranking.
I'm working on it. Okay.
If you haven't if you can't tell, this is we have a program tonight, but Josh and I both have adult ADHD, so we'll have some issues at times with going down rabbit trails. So Christian Heritage number 1, Baylor number 2, or McCally's number 2?
You have McCallie at the committee had McCallie at number 2.
We got to get this straight, or I'm not taking the heat for all this. This is a joint
and
operation.
Baylor at number 3. That's what the committee had.
The committee, and we also sought out a lot of people's opinions too. By the way, so we're not going to name names. We have a lot of unnamed sources, and Baylor McCallie, and really, if the viewers want to be, if I want to be totally honest, I couldn't figure out how to tie them on the what's it called, the thing I made, the flyer. I couldn't figure out how to tie them exactly.
Man, ain't no ties in sports. This ain't. I mean, I guess there is in soccer and sports betting, but other than that, no ties.
Yeah. And so, how many rankings do you want to have? We have the preseason vote. So we'll have, and then maybe a midseason, and I don't see us doing it every week, ranking teams every week, but probably we need to at least have 3 or 4.
We'll definitely have multiple rankings. I say we'll have a preseason ranking, and then let everybody play a couple of weeks, and then we'll have a December pre-Christmas ranking, see how everybody's doing, and everybody will play in their Christmas tournaments. And we'll see how everybody gets going in district play, and then we'll have a post-Christmas ranking, then a pre-tournament ranking, and we'll be ready to go.
And I'm sure there'll be tons of movement up and down on that, because that's how rankings go. I mean, it's kind of like college football playoff. I mean, there's no shot Ohio State ends up being number 1, right?
Yeah, and if you know anything about rankings, preseason rankings don't matter. They're just to get everybody talking, and that's what these rankings have done, and that's good.
Yeah, I had a lot of frustration voiced with me from different people, so it was interesting. So,
I love that it's all getting directed at you. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, what is that all about? Yeah, exactly.
I'm just hiding in my hole over here in Red Bank.
Yeah,
you're out there podcasting, doing your thing. Everybody's coming after you.
It's like when we worked together, like I would get people would, maybe I'm just too open to listen. You're not approachable like I am. All right. So we got, that's probably what, who's number 4? Is Notre Dame 4 or is Tyner 4?
Notre Dame 4.
Notre Dame's 4 and Tyner 5.
Tyner 5.
Now, I mean, Notre Dame could beat anybody though, right?
Yeah, honestly, any of these teams can beat anybody. I mean, any of the teams that we have in top 10, there's even some other ones that are pretty good too, that are going to be up this year that we're going to want to keep an eye on. I know Central's one that's been a lot better. Brainerd, we need to keep an eye on them. There's a lot of teams in the area that have showed some really good progress and getting better. I mean, Cantonio Davis does an amazing job at Central, and so does LeVar Brown at Brainerd. I'm really looking forward to seeing those guys play.
What about North Georgia? Anybody else? We got Christian Heritage, and I don't know. We need to get some Dalton and Northwest Whitfield.
We might need some help with North Georgia. Lafayette's usually pretty good. I don't know what they have this year. We might need to reach out to Coach Peppers and see what he's got.
Yeah, they've had some dudes there in the past. So, all right. So who else? We got Walker Valley. We've got Bradley, and there was a little bit of frustration with some Bradley people that they were number 10 or 9 or whatever. They feel like they're going to be.
Yeah.
And part of the deal,
I imagine there was quite a bit of frustration there.
And
there's always frustration in Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets along up here. So the one issue with Bradley too is Boo Carter going to play basketball? I mean, obviously that would be a little bit of a game changer. And apparently Bradley's got a new big guy too. I don't, who knows? So that's part of preseason rankings too. You just don't know exactly who has what. So we got Red Bank. You saw them practice yesterday. What you got on Red Bank?
Red Bank has 6 seniors back. That they didn't lose anything. They got a sophomore that's a really good player that I saw, a little guard, and they got a great core with Kendrick Lloyd, and Coach Fike does a great job with them. They got a lot back, and we played them last year when I was at Boyd, and I mean we were playing really well in the first half, and the second half they came back and they almost beat us. and with a really young squad. They got one of the best post defenders in the city. And he's only
Protects
about
the rim.
6'1" or something. He's
You know,
incredible.
uh, sounds like my kind of guy. So so Red Bank and Arts and Sciences has been good. They
Mhm.
lost a lot, so be interested to see what they have, and
Yeah.
coming
There's
up.
a lot of teams with a lot of question marks, like unknowns, that lost a lot. I mean, Boyd's one. They lost six
Yeah,
seniors from last year, from our team last year. That's one that nobody really knows.
yeah, and obviously they lost the best coach in Chattanooga history, and Josh Templeton. But also, there was some frustration on that from one of the Boyd assistants reached out to me, Thomas Dodd. He felt like he was a little frustrated with the rankings there. So
I'm
I
sure he
think
was. He's usually a disgruntled uh, rankings watcher. He's a Georgia fan, so he's been spoiled for the last 3 years and all that kind of stuff in rankings. So we'll see how it
yeah.
goes.
Hey, can you hear my dog Grundy barking? For those of you with quality, Grundy, who is a rescue pit bull, is wanting to get in my room, right? Wanting to get in the recording area. So if you hear him barking, do you hear him, Josh?
I don't hear him barking at all. Your
That's
mic's doing a good job.
that's excellent. Good. I'm
Hey,
happy.
where do you stream this on Facebook Live? I've got some people asking me.
I guess it's just on my feed there. Tommy Brown there. Tom Brown, Tom Brown.
Tom Brown,
Brown.
Facebook
Yep.
Live.
Yep. Feel free to follow me, and so we can put it on. I'm gonna see if let's roll with a little YouTube live too, see if that goes,
Do it.
if we can do it. So um anyway, but tell them what, obviously we're gonna put this on. This will be on YouTube and on Spotify, and Apple. So these will be
Pretty soon when we're doing this, we'll be able to have people commenting. I don't know how you can deal with comments during the live, but that would be dope, because I want to hear what people's comments would be.
yeah. I actually, Ezel Dodd's actually calling me right now. I'm not answering that. I mean, so
Don't
I'm not
answer
answering
that.
that. I'm right in the middle of this. I mean, if he wants to be interviewed sometime, then that's fine. But I mean, we're not interviewing. I mean, he,
Tell,
obviously. So I mean,
tell them I'll
hey,
see him at lunch tomorrow.
yeah, and I think Kent's going to do a great job at Boyd, and they got some good young players. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
Kenneth
the
did a
whole.
great job at Lausanne, took him to a state championship. And yeah, they got some good youngins back.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, all right, so we are being joined right now by Brandon Bourne. He's getting hooked up here to the Zoom. Josh, do you know Brandon? Surely you guys have met out there some point.
Yeah, I know Brandon a little bit.
Brandon, can you
What's up,
hear us,
Brandon?
man? Are you good? We don't hear you,
Oh,
Brandon.
he's mute.
Are you mute right now? He is mute. Brandon is mute. So Brandon, I'm going to give Brandon's bio for us, Josh. Let's see if we can get this.
Hey, can
See,
you
Brandon,
unmute him first, please? Can you unmute Brandon first?
is it me?
Yeah, I think you got to unmute
No,
everybody
hey,
when they come
don't,
in the
no,
meeting.
no, 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 no. Yeah, no, it's I asked him to unmute. Brandon's still muted right there.
Bottom left corner.
I'm asking him to unmute. I hitting it again. Brandon's trying to figure it out. So, still silent there. This is good. This is good radio right here. Good radio.
That's why
First
we're
guest,
streaming, though.
first guest ever. Brandon was a high academic guy too. You would think. I bet Brandon does all kinds of meetings on Zoom too. So he probably is.
Like, what in the world's going on here?
Let's see if it's. I've asked him to unmute,
I'm
so I
sure
don't
Brandon
know.
has a bone to pick with you about these rankings.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what
You.
Brandon thinks about these rankings. All right, so who else? While Brandon's getting hooked up, chat preps up there.
Yep.
We've got, who have we missed right there? Silverdale. Tell us about Silverdale. You know anything about them, Josh?
I know a little bit about Silverdale. We only played them like 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
They got Brett Wright returning, who is, I believe he's a 2-time all district player, and he'll be in the running with him and Cole McCormick and Kennedy Okpara, they have as well. They'll be up, looking at Jace Harmon District Player of the Year. Those guys will be battling it out. They're gonna be very, very good. They're gonna be older this year. I think they got a lot of seniors, and they're gonna be really tough. Slater does a good job. There he is. We got
Hey,
Can
I'm
you hear us
back.
now,
I'm
Brandon?
sorry.
Hey man, you are all right, buddy. It is
That,
good
that,
to have you. Hey,
that was
so
my fault. My fault.
it's all right. You're just our first guest ever, so no big deal at all right there. All right, so Brandon, you are a legend of the game. I'm going to try to see just off top of my head. Haven't like looked this up or anything. Let's see. I'm going to see what I can get right about your biography. All right. Brandon went to Ringgold High School. I'm going to say you probably graduated 90 what? One or something like that too, maybe. What we got?
90.
Aha, there you go.
You're close.
Your brother played at Davidson, right?
That's correct.
He was really good. So Brandon, he goes to, obviously was a prep legend at Ringgold High School. Goes to Chattanooga, UTC. Did you redshirt?
I did. First year I
redshirted. And which doesn't happen very often now, Brandon. People don't redshirt and they get in the transfer portal. Brandon Josh weighed Brandon was 6'8" and weighed 105 pounds his senior year. So then he goes to UTC, puts on all the weight, and ends up. How many years did you start? 3?
I started, my sophomore, junior, and senior years at UTC.
Now, were you there were you on the Sweet 16 team then? Or were you the year, or was that 2 years, 3 years after you?
I'll tell you a quick story on that. So that was 97. I graduated in 95. So 2 seasons later, but I got to play
Kansas, right?
Well, we played Kansas my junior year. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, my junior year. We played Wake Forest my sophomore year. We played UConn and Ray Allen my senior year. But I was going to say, I got to play with Johnny Taylor in our preseason my senior year, and I didn't know who he was. And we get picked up on the team. We're playing in the arena, and I'm just throwing the ball about 13 feet in the air, and this guy's catching it and dunking it and making it look just easy. And I said, everybody stop. I said, hey, what's your name? He said, my name is Johnny Taylor. And I said, are you coming here this year? And he says, no, next year. And I said, man, I'm so mad at your parents, but
That's
we
hilarious.
always laugh about that. Like, I wish we could have played 1 year together,
So you guys went to 2 NCAAs or 3 then?
We went to 3.
Wow, that's pretty good. So played for big Coach McCarthy, and Shane Neal was on your team, right?
Yeah, you could get my freshman year. So Shane and I both redshirted together.
Yeah.
And you could get my weight and Shane's weight, and combined we're probably 285. We were just skin and bone. Shane's the only guy that I know that graduated college and lost weight.
That's hilarious.
He's unbelievable.
So, all right. So Brandon, how old are your kids now? You've got one. Well, what grades are they now?
So I've got 4 boys. I've got one in 6th grade, one in 8th grade, one in 11th, and then one in 12th grade. And they're all 4 at Baylor this year.
Gotcha. So have they noticed where we put Baylor?
The genes over there.
There was a little frustration by Baylor people. But before we get to that, do your boys know how good you were? Do they care? Do they respect it at all? Do they even if they're anything like my stepsons asked me if I even played high school basketball the other day.
Yeah, I get the same thing. Look, I never got to play like for my father growing up, but I'll coach these guys in AAU, kind of small ball, and they listen to me a little bit when they're young, but you know the drill, man. About 7th grade, they just say whatever for the most part. And every now and then, this will date me, guys, but every now and then I'll say, all right, let's go to the great room. I'm going to dust off the VHS And
There you
we're
go.
gonna watch some old
It
highlight
doesn't really
tape.
date you that much. Any '90s kids got the VHSs.
I have to break out the scrapbooks is what I do. You know, I was like, hey, look at this. You know, they don't even know what scrapbooks are, of course, but I
Oh, I
break out
know.
I break
That's
out
right.
the scrap. So all
First
right,
college
so
game I ever saw was the UTC game with Brandon Moore and playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in the 3rd grade. Took a trip over to the Roundhouse.
3rd grade.
I have no idea what happened in the game, but I
Who
do
did we
remember
play?
that.
You don't remember?
I don't. That was a long time ago.
Brandon, so who? All right, so who? Let me think of some of the other guys on that. There was Chad Copeland. He had to have been with you at some point there, right?
Yeah. So Chad transferred in from Florida State, and
Yeah.
I think he had to sit out maybe the first year, went the transfer rule or something. But he was there. I played with Chad for 2 years.
And how about Ronald Wilson?
Ron Wilson, the mayor of Stump Street, he was there for sure.
Hey, that's what. Hey, I mean, we're obviously trying to promote basketball in this area, Brandon. And so ultimately, our goal, Josh, is I'm a couple years older than Brandon, is to get it back to the way it was in that time, because that's when Chattanooga basketball was on fire. When Brandon and
Chattanooga
I
basketball is always on fire.
yeah, but so Brandon, we're all right. So besides us three, who do you think some of the best players in the area have been? And you've lived in the area too. You've never moved away, right? You've started business. Tell us about what you're doing right now, and then let's talk about
Yeah.
the
So
best players ever.
Yeah, so I was in real estate development for a long time, and then when the world started wobbling, the Great Recession, me and a guy named Matt Hamilton started a lending company called Platinum Financial Funding, just a residential mortgage company. This is when the rates were 3.5%. So business was great for about 10 to 11 years, and then we sold it December of 2018. So
Sounds like a pretty good idea with interest rates now, huh? So
look, I knew this day was coming. I didn't know if it was 2 years, 5 years, but I just said, you know what? Let me just sell this thing at the multiple that we have it at, and let me just move on. And so
yeah.
I stayed on with the company for about 4 years, 4.5 years, kind of helped them in the transition. And then in the meantime, I've been doing residential real estate developments. So buy land, get it entitled, put the horizontal in, sell the lots to home builders, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I know how to do, what I've done for a long time. Well, as far as best players in this area, so I'll tell you, as a kid, not as a kid, but as a high schooler, freshman, sophomore, I literally tried to sneak in one night to the city Brainerd game at Brainerd High School.
See, it's another thing Josh won't understand, Brandon. He will not
No.
understand how, because I know exactly where you're going. So keep going.
Yeah, so I could not sneak in. One of my buddies went in the back door, and he just went in and enjoyed the game. But we went, ran around, did all that, picked him up later on. But he said, "Man, there was a guy named Orlando Lightfoot that was unstoppable, And we used to always, I guess, Tommy, you see all the scoring leaders in the Chattanooga area, right? Guys from Stell Creek to Soddy Daisy to wherever." And Orlando Lightfoot was always, he and Chad were top 1 and 2, I think, if I recall correctly. So obviously Orlando was great. Chad, let me tell you, Chad Copeland. If Chad Copeland is 6 feet 3 inches tall, I would never have met the guy. I'm just telling you.
He'd be. Yeah, you're right. No doubt. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's from Cleveland, so maybe we would have met him. At this point, maybe he would have moved back to this area, I guess. So
yeah, maybe, but so look, Chad was great. Malcolm Mackey was a problem. I got to play against Malcolm, not in high school, but in college. So he played at Georgia Tech.
Yeah. So
they came down the Roundhouse and played us. Travis Best, I think, was the point guard. Josh, so that was fun seeing that.
And Brandon, so like those are Power 5 guys. Chad went to Florida State. Malcolm Mackey goes to Georgia Tech. Orlando Lightfoot, I mean, he actually went to junior college and went to Idaho, but hey, I held him to 47, by the way. It was a quiet 47.
He played Orlando Lightfoot. He played a long time overseas, didn't he?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was.
I think he played
yeah,
10, 12 years or something.
Yeah.
And he scored 47 on you, Tommy, without a 3-point line. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, it may have been. No, there was. That was like the first year of the 3-point line, second year, something like that. But
Tommy
you're
still
right.
has
It was
4 years of
close.
eligibility left on defense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
right.
right. I do have some eligibility left, but I mean, he was just cranking up stuff I'd never see before. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? We lost by like 2. He had 47 out of like the 62 or something like that. So the Power
I
Five,
played against
like
him, TB. I played against him in the men's league, and he had
he
45
was
and
probably
45.
45 years old by the time you played
Yeah,
against
he had 45 and 45 years under his belt.
and that grown man streak.
Dude, it was unbelievable. I ain't never seen somebody make that many mid-range jumpers in my life.
So how about
Yeah,
Jay
dude.
Price? We can't leave
Yeah.
Jay Price, Brandon. I mean, he's a little older, but I'm sure you saw him back in the day.
Yeah,
too.
well, I tell you, my introduction to Jay Price. So me and probably 3 or 4 Ringgold teammates, and we make the big trek to Chattanooga, which was like driving 10 hours to us back then. We go to McClellan, and they had the high school jamboree in there, right?
Yeah.
And so I think they'd play a quarter or something. It was like Brainerd playing, Saudi or somebody. And so I'm like, which one is this Jay Price guy? And they said that little guy right there. And so the next thing I know, it's the layup line, and you could jump.
Yeah.
McClellan. Look, I could dunk in McClellan. It's one of those springy floors, right? Man,
Yeah.
this guy came in off one leg, 2 hands. I mean, above the square, and dunked it like it was just a Nerf hoop, man. And he probably had 3 or 4 dunks that game, and you could tell. I mean, you guys know. Look, when you're D1, you're high level, it's just different. It's just different.
Yeah. One of the things Josh and I were talking about, like, who was the last Power 5 guy in the Chattanooga area? And that's one of the, I mean, because you remember back in that, because that's one of the sad things about Ace Bailey leaving the Chattanooga area is he probably arguably would have been the greatest player ever in the area. I mean, right now he's the number 2 ranked high school player in the country. So, I mean, he's who knows how it's all going to turn out, but he's probably an
Fortunately,
NBA
he still claims Chattanooga.
Well, good, but he's probably a lottery pick. So that's one of the sad things for me is that him leaving. But so who else? I mean, in between our eras and today, there's just hasn't been a ton of Power 5 guys.
Well, there's one guy. I don't know if you'll remember this. You remember Porter Roberts?
Oh yeah, that's right. I played. Yeah, he was Purdue, but he was he's probably your age though, right?
Yeah, Porter. Yeah, I'm 51, so it's probably the same age. He was a CSAS.
Yep,
right?
Arts and Sciences. Yep. Yeah.
And then, but I mean, this isn't a Power 5. There was a guy who went to Notre Dame. Do you remember the one guy?
Tommy Fox?
Thomas Elliott.
No, he went to Virginia Tech, but he's our age too. He's your age too. Yeah.
So you're saying what in the last 10 years?
I'm saying last 20 years. Last 20.
Jason,
we're old, man. Brandon, we're old. I mean,
I know.
I think it's Philip Jurek is the last guy that played at East Ridge.
Okay. Yeah, East Ridge went to Tennessee, right? Eventually.
Yeah, and then he went to Oklahoma State. So
that's right. That's right.
But he's the last one, right? I mean, I can't. If anybody listening to this knows, I mean, obviously, let us know if we missed somebody. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there's been some really, really good players that have played mid-major, and half of them ended up coming back and play for me at least. So I mean, that's great. I mean, but I'm talking the Malcolm Mackey and Jay Prices that. I mean, you remember they were camping out Malcolm Mackey's outside of Brainerd to figure out where he was going. I mean, it was that kind of.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was. Listen, if there was social media and ESPN apps back then, you'd have a poster of the guy in your room. I mean, he was the guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Brainerd had a run of guys like that in the 90s. I mean, Harris Walker and CJ Black and all them guys. Man, they had some teams. I remember.
Who was the other story? Oh, go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What?
CJ Black, yeah. Who was that?
Dwayne Garner. Remember Dwayne Garner?
Oh yeah.
We were playing pickup in the McGilvery gym, Tommy, and Murray State came to see CJ Black or Harris Walker. This is when what was the guy's name? He went from Murray State to I think it might have been Virginia Tech. Anyways, the coach, he was there, and I'm like in the ninth, 10th grade. I'm like, I'm gonna get discovered, and I'm gonna play great against all these guys. Harris Walker dunked on me so hard that night, like literally put his nether regions on my forehead, dunk. And I remember thinking after that moment, I'm probably not going to be D1.
Well, you're not the last guy he did it to, I can tell you that.
So Brandon, tell us about the area. You're, obviously, you've seen a lot of ball, and you got a junior and senior. So who are do you think some of the better teams in the area you think coming up? I've got Coach Robinson here coming on from McCallie. So anyway, Steve, we're finishing up with Brandon. So you're good, buddy. I know Baylor and McCallie hate each other, so we wanted to, make sure we fuel that. What do you think about that Baylor McCallie rivalry, Brandon? That's crazy, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what, it's
how are you and Matt Helman friends? How did that work? Is that why, that's pretty impressive.
We're no longer friends, Tommy.
That's good.
Hey, I want to know how you and Steve Robinson are friends.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
Let me explain this. I've known Steve a long time, and I think I met him through Matt. Actually, he was coaching maybe some AAU stuff back in the day, and Steve and I will play golf probably a round or two a year. And Steve always beats me on the golf course.
Yeah, right.
He's a sandbagger, but no, we'll get together every now and then. But those 2 nights out of the year, or 3 nights when the game goes on, it's intense. I mean, it's bigger than basketball. It shuts everybody down, and everybody just kind of goes in their own world. But look, after the game, I go talk to Steve. I always go shake his hand and talk to his son Parker. And look, at the end of the day, it's a game, man.
Yeah. What a great rivalry to be a part of, though. I mean, really, it's so powerful.
It's funny because all those kids kind of grow up together in AAU too, and then they're playing against each other. I know that's happened like the last 10 years.
We had 3 people last night from McCallie at my house trick-or-treating. Like, we took them to the Enclave to trick-or-treat, McCallie and Baylor in the back seat.
I'll tell you, there's some great – that's another topic we ought to go with. Baylor McCallie's obviously up there nationally, but, Bradley Cleveland or Bradley Walker Valley, those things are nuts up here. I mean, we're
going to have a rivalry week.
Everywhere.
We'll have a rivalry week episode when we have those games.
Like Brainerd Tyler back in the day, remember? Like you said, you couldn't even get in the city Brainerd game.
Hey, I got into a game one time to watch some little guy named Jeff Herman, for Tyner.
Yeah,
and let me tell you, I think Jeff scored the first 16 or 18 points of the game, just bombs, and he's running down the court, shooting the crowd, doing his Herman thing, and he was great.
He got
a couple kids playing now, don't he?
Yeah, he has Notre Dame, I think.
Yeah, he does. His son plays at Notre Dame. Jeff, you talk about eligibility left in defense. Jeff's got a couple years there too, so as do I. So, Brandon, did you realize how good a player Steve was? I don't think. Did you ever see Coach Robinson play, Brandon?
No, listen.
He's too old. I was before him.
Listen, the only time I ever saw Steve play, and I think this is correct, Steve, I think we played against each other at the sports barn one time, like maybe mid-90s or something. And that was it. I think you shut me down to 38 or something.
Yeah, that's right.
That was it. And then later on, they said, hey, man, this guy was, all-time leading scorer at Temple and all this. But I never saw him play. I never saw Josh play,
Hey, by the way, I'm 1-0 against Coach Steve Robinson as a coach he was a player. So he and Josh both were on the same team. They came up to Bluefield College, took that big L in the dome and
played
walked
us the wrong year.
Yeah. Now we were playing. They were playing 5-on-7 or 5-on-8 with the referees, but we shot like 60 free throws. They shot 5, but that's how it goes on the road right there. So,
it happens, man.
So, well, Brad, any other closing thoughts? We appreciate you being the first legend of the game, and Coach Robinson, you, in all seriousness, this dude he weighed 105 pounds out of high school, and then he just Like, I mean, he just got better and better and better, and was so good by the time, he played 3 NCAA tournaments. That's incredible.
That is
And
incredible.
hey, Mac McCarthy, we can talk about, that's another podcast there too, Brandon. We can
You
talk
ain't
about
getting at large in
Hey,
SoCon.
I got a surprise for you guys. There's a plug for Mac McCarthy's book, but yeah, he would be great on this podcast. And I saw
Mac
Mac.
wrote a
he
book?
hates
He what?
what?
Put that up there. Mac
what's
wrote a
Mac's
book?
book called?
It's called "What I'm About to Tell You Is the Truth or Could Be: My Accidental Career Path." Mac McCarthy.
Oh my goodness.
Ah,
Hey, Mac hasn't
nice.
really spoken to me, Brandon, in a long time. So I need you to reconnect Mac and I. So I con Mac into us playing them at Lee. Josh, I didn't know we were going to be so good, because Mac's like, hey, I can't lose to an NAI school. It's like, Mac, there's no way we're going to beat y'all. Okay, no way. So we get Paco Diaz, who's Boris Diaz's brother, late, and this was the year I stole Josh from Temple, and we were so good. And we
You
got
didn't
East
steal me.
Carolina.
It was the 3 players that came.
So we beat the crap out of them.
Did you really?
East Carolina, yeah. And I mean, the refs kept it close. And so Mac, I go to shake his hand after the game, and I feel terrible, because I know, he goes, "You just lost me my job," and I felt so bad. I mean, I cannot. Josh, you remember after the game, like, I was
standing right there.
Like, you would have thought we lost, and
Yeah.
I felt so bad, because I know what it's.
So he was the coach at Eastern Carolina, correct? Yeah.
Yes,
I got
yeah, he's
you.
at
I
East
got you.
Carolina.
What was
and,
the score? Do you remember? Was it a close game or what?
I mean, we won by 2, but literally they had 10 straight possessions where they shot free throws. Because you know how the officials are in those games. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
know more than anybody. You play when you get bought, they're going to get the call. So, I mean, I just felt so bad. Now, he didn't lose his job though. He did keep it the next year, which I was very pleased about. But
He just got a pay cut because of you, though, Tommy.
it didn't help him. Man, I manipulated him into doing it. Golly. Because, I mean, we were, you know how it is when you go play somebody bigger. I mean,
I don't think
jacked
you
up.
didn't know you were going to have all those dudes, though.
I did.
And we signed Paco in August, Freddie
Yeah.
Williams in August, like a week before school started.
Yeah. I mean, one point we were 31-0 or something. I mean, we were good. So, but anyway. Well, Brandon, you're a legend. We appreciate you, brother. And please, we look forward to seeing you at some games this year. And anyway, I mean, obviously, if anybody wants to buy a subdivision, they can give you a call, right? Is that the
Yeah, if they have some land they want to sell, just have them give me a call and I'll work it out with them.
I need to come work for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, man.
All right, brother. We appreciate you, man. First legend of the game, Brandon Board. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
See you, Brandon.
Bye-bye.
All right, Coach Robinson. Sorry we that was actually a great little segment, because you guys are
Nice
buddies.
little segue.
Yeah.
There you go. So we've got
I
Coach
like
Steve
Brandon.
Robinson, head coach at Macaulay. Steve, this is what, year 3 now or 4? Where we got?
Year 2 head coach. This is my 6th year there.
6th year.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good. You're
Okay.
good. So Steve is like Brandon was saying, the all-time leading scorer at Tennessee Temple University. Josh, did you end up passing him, or you're behind?
No, there's a guy named Dave Murr that scored like 5,600 points or something like that.
Yeah, there's
me
a
and
couple
Steve couldn't
guys.
catch him.
I believe James Ransburg, old guy, Lefty used to coach. He was up there pretty good, 6'9" guy.
Lefty probably likes to remind Steve how many guys are above him in the scoring list.
There's not too many.
Hey, Steve, we're going to have a podcast at some point. I want you to be a guest on it. It's going to be why Tennessee Temple does not exist anymore. That's going to be the topic. Josh, that's
a terrible
right
topic.
There. That is awesome.
I hate that topic. It's the worst topic I've ever heard.
It's really sad to me, actually, because it was such a, that Temple Lee robber. All right, so Coach Robinson, we got you ranked number 2. How you feel about that, first of all? I mean, we hear you got this big guy that's really good. We hear, obviously, your son Parker is what year is he now?
He's a senior. That's it.
Oh, he's a 2024. Wow.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And so what about other guys on your team besides obviously we can talk about Parker later on, but
what's the big boy's name?
Kenneth Chime.
Kenneth what?
What
Chime.
What year is he?
Chime.
Chime, Chime. He's a senior this year. We got 7 seniors this year.
Wow. And so how about what else about your team? I mean, obviously you guys had a pretty good year last year, and this year, I mean, what's
last year was it was a tough year record wise. It was a good year, I guess, with the guys that we had. I felt like anytime you're starting something new, you're trying to create a culture. For us, we just needed to get a little bit more physical, a little tougher. And I felt like we took some steps last year. We just were kind of limited. I thought at times we did really well. We had issues rebounding the basketball in pretty much every game. But, we're asking 6-foot guy, hey, just box out and push and fight for your life. And about 5 times a game, all the games are like groundhog. 5 times a game, somebody gets an offensive rebound put back, and you lose by 5. We had, I don't know how many possessions last year, fourth quarter, either we're tied or down 3, whatever. And we either need a stop and a score or something, or we have the ball, we miss a shot, go down, they hit a 3. I mean, it was like clockwork. So a little bit of snake bit there, but I'm excited about this group here. It's going to be different. We have a lot of guys returning. Like I said, 7 seniors. That's good. But we also have like 7 younger guys, man, that are chomping at the bit. And so it's really a good mix of older guys, veterans, and younger guys that are hungry. And so, and I feel like there's just really good chemistry in this group.
So you got a lot of competition, I guess. For playing time.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, the 1 through 14, I mean, I haven't made any decisions, right? So I know this, you're going to get what you earn. Yeah. Like that, I said it to him last year. I kept, I hope you get what you earn, right? That was important for them. So, but these guys, man, just learn to compete, be healthy, and have it be healthy. That's the part that I like. Yeah. I could go against Josh. We could play 1-on-1, and I mean, we're fighting. But then when we step on the court together, we're like, it never crossed my mind to have a grudge against Josh, right?
Well, that's one way, because he's still a little bit bitter against you. So just keep that
I'm just You're kidding. The only person in the world that holds this much bitterness about things that happened in basketball.
Hey, you and I don't need to.
I don't know, but Steve single-handedly.
That's the next play. That's on the next play where you and I can weigh our issues. So anyway,
I'm telling you right now, Tommy, you say that I never passed the ball. Steve Robinson is the only reason I own the assist record at Tennessee Temple that doesn't exist anymore.
Josh,
Steve. All right, I need confirmation on this, because he did not. He passed the ball your year because you were so good. The rest of his career, he never passed the ball. You were a senior when he was a freshman. He passed the ball to you because you were 4 years older than him.
I had 2 years. I had him for 2 years. And see, he had shot so much in high school that he was tired. He needed a break.
Shoulder hurt.
Right? And so for 2 years.
I had a sore rotator cuff.
I'm telling you, man, it is a lost art to pass. It's a lost art. And he had it. And he had it. He did it for 2 years. And then after that, hey, shoot as much as you want.
Man. All right. So tell us about your
rested at that point.
Yeah. So tell us about your schedule this year. Who all we got? I mean, who's obviously Baylor. That's going to be
y'all's league is brutal.
Our region's brutal. It's fun though, man. It's some kind of like a fun torture. But yeah, I mean, you got Baylor. They're good as usual. Mark does a great job over there with them guys. It's like getting a root canal. CCS, Wes. I mean, he's done a great job with those guys over there. And last year, I mean, they're competitive, and I know they didn't win many region games, but he has them dudes playing as good as they can play.
What's going on with Catholic? Are they
they score
CCS
scores a lot of points too.
CCS puts pressure on you. They put pressure on you. And they got some kids, they got some kids over there that can play. I don't know anything about what's going on at Catholic. Of course, Luke's gone. And
Webb's
he just does his thing, right? Like, they lost a really good, I think that, their best player last year, who's Mr. Basketball, I think, in our division, and then a couple other seniors that were sneaky good role players.
Yeah.
But he just does a really good job with them guys.
Who's going to be good in Middle Tennessee over there? Brentwood Academy, NBA, all those guys. Innsworth.
I really don't know. I'm hoping we find out, because we're going to play as part of our schedule. We're going to go to Nashville and play Pope Prep at Pope, and then Innsworth on in December. Play them on a Friday, Saturday, and then we're going to come back the next week and play CPA and MBA on a Friday, Saturday. So I just trying to make it, get out there and see what you got. At least get them on film.
Yeah. Who else are you playing non-conference in the Chattanooga area then?
This year we got we're going to play Boyd Buchanan. We got them a couple times. Yeah. We got Red Bank. We're playing at Red Bank late in February, middle of February. Notre Dame, Boyd Buchanan, East Hamilton, Central. We're playing them Hall of Champions.
So that's tough. Those are all up there in our little preseason.
I think Red Bank's going to be one to watch this year. I'm serious.
Red Bank's good, man. Hey, this summer, man, they beat the Sox off us. Sox off us this summer.
Yeah.
So Nick does a great job. He really does. I like him not only as a person, but obviously as a coach. But man, he's always excited about what he's got going on over there.
So Parker, what's Parker looking to do next year? I mean, what's his story? How's that going?
It's good. It's slow. Like, as far as decision making, he's had multiple visits. He just wants to play. I mean, he wants to get somewhere where he can contribute. Obviously it's college, it's the next level. So he's got probably some growing to do, but obviously, like every kid's dream, you just want to get on a team that somewhere where they want you and play at the next level.
Yeah.
I think he's ready. He's ready for that.
So lots of depth. We're gonna have this will be with you three, especially Will Campbell is about to get going with us, but we're doing a Playing for Your Dad podcast that I feel like all three of you can relate to. And so, coaching your kid and what that's all about. And, Josh wrote that book, Playing for My Dad, and we still talk. So
the Coaching Your Kid podcast coming soon.
Yeah. But, it's crazy. I do all these clinics everywhere, and there's so many people in y'all's boat that are coaching their kids. I mean, it happens so often, and there's just a lot of uniqueness.
So Josh, what's your, just to give me 10 seconds to answer, what's your first, like, I didn't read your book, sorry. But like, what's your take on Playing for Your Dad, right? Like, good, bad?
My dad didn't put a lot of pressure on me. He didn't put hardly any pressure on me. And he didn't put any pressure on me to work, like to get shots up, to do stuff. And he coached me on the team like I was one of the players. But then when we got home or we got in the car, he wasn't coaching me anymore. If I wanted to talk ball, he'd talk ball. But he wasn't like, you know what I mean? There was never any like, hey, unless I had a bad attitude or I wasn't working very hard. Yeah. But so that's one of the things that I'm trying to, like, every kid has a different personality, and he could do that with me. I don't think he could do that with everybody. You know what I mean? Some kids need a little fire lit under them, and it's everybody's a rookie coaching their kid. Everyone is a rookie coaching their kid. because that kid that you're coaching is different. Even if you had an older one, he's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So each one is like the first time. And that's the stuff that I'm wanting to talk about. I'm talking to a lot of people that coach their kids. I'm going down Thursday to talk to Shulman and Max and Tanner and hang out with them. Actually, that's tomorrow morning. Hang out with them a little bit and talk about it. And I'm definitely going to be coming to you guys for some tips.
You know, Steve, I heard Lenny Acuff one time said, if your kid's one of the best 2 or 3 players, it's easy. Or if he's one of the worst 2 or 3 players, it's easy.
Yeah.
But if he's like kind of in the middle, that's where it gets really difficult. So I think there's something to that. So, you know,
and that's where you got to take your foot off the gas a little bit and let your kid be a recreational player if that's what he wants to be. You know what I mean? If they're not like that gung ho about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, Parker's obviously really, really good. So that helps you. I mean, it's not like anyway.
I think it really helps too if they're the first ones to buy into the team thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like you want that player not only to be good, but to be the guy that's not selfish, the guy that wants the team to win, you know. So it just makes things the good teammate too. Like you don't want a coach's son being the biggest jerk on the team, the one in the locker room that's, you know, saying stuff behind people's backs and stuff like that. That's a problem.
So
that's just asking for it right there.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the best player on any team if they're
that's right.
Yeah, piece of crap. That always kills you. What about so is Big Lefty? What's he doing? What we got? This is Steve's father-in-law, a legend in coaching, probably the most underrated coach of all time. So what's Big Lefty up to? See,
he's hunting, man. He's hunting.
Is he helping you at all?
November? No, it's November. He's in the woods.
So when is he not watching film for you or at practice, or what's he doing? Is he out?
I'll be honest, he probably has Parker's login for Huddle. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he watches, but I'll be honest, he just isn't. He's moved on, man. He just I think he's in the sunset. He's just enjoying watching Parker and enjoying his grandson, man. And just being a granddad, and he don't want to die. If he got involved, because he's kind of guy, man. You're gonna win or he gonna die. He's gonna die. And I mean, you're talking about sleep problems, can't sleep, and I mean, so it's good. But hey, man, I was with him for probably 10 years at least, and you just can't. I can't bottle up what I've learned from being around him.
Yeah.
I certainly would not be where I am right now if I didn't have his influence.
Nor would Josh Templeton either. And I'm answering.
I would definitely second that. I mean, my years 10 through 20 where Lefty Glasscock was there almost every day.
I've heard I love Lefty stories. He's one of a kind, and I love. So please tell him hello. Well, Steve, good luck to you, man.
We'll definitely defensive stance anymore.
He would.
I want to die in a defensive stance. Like, man, that sounds terrible.
If his knee was good, he'd still be in it.
I would have died in a defensive stance. Put that that's awesome. Well, Steve, good luck to you this year, brother. And we're definitely going to have you back on, and hopefully we'll manipulate Parker into getting on with us sometime too, so we can talk to him and we'll get him rolling, and looking for we'll get out there and watch it. So appreciate you, brother. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, so our next guest, we got Coach Will Campbell of the Walker Valley Mustangs. Sorry, we're running a little bit behind there, Coach Campbell. So can you hear us? You good?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me?
You are loud and clear. So Coach Campbell for the are they 5th or 6th, Josh? What we got them as? Walker Valley Mustangs.
Walker Valley 6.
Walker Valley 6. Some frustration.
That's gonna be tough, man. Over under season wins is only at 4.5. So for us to be 6 is gonna be tough. That's gonna be a big feat, I guess. I always set that over and under beginning of the season. That's where we're at this year. 4.5.
Yes, it's you.
Will goes to Destin every summer and collects that sand for the bag. He's sandbagging
there you go.
All the time.
There you go. 1 point away.
I'd be like, hey, Will, you want to play this year? He's like, yeah, we're going to be horrible. And then they come in and beat us down.
which I'm thankful I'm thankful I don't have to watch you guys play each other anymore. So,
hey,
all right. So
we always had good games. Those were
yeah,
good
yeah,
games.
great.
Games,
it was always
Josh and I never had any trouble. Never.
Yeah.
No, I
Y'all
only have
didn't
trouble
any
with I only have trouble with fans.
Yeah. So
and scorekeepers.
Yeah, there's so Will, you guys, in all seriousness, you've got almost everybody back. You obviously lost Hobie, but you got everybody else back pretty much that played significant minutes. And then you add
we lost our starting point guard. Lost our starting point guard too.
Yes,
don't forget that.
Did.
And
yeah.
And Hobie, you say, oh yeah, you just lost Hobie. I mean, he's 1,000-point scorer. I mean,
Yeah.
So, but he does add, Josh.
He does add. Back. Yeah, we lost Hobie and our point guard.
Yeah.
And so our best defensive player and our best defensive player. We graduated 4 guys.
Who was your best defensive player? Who do you count
Brett.
that? Oh my gosh, yes. I can't even believe I forgot. Brett.
I can't believe they're
going to miss Brett Campbell,
player,
Josh.
But
Brett Campbell.
Oh, I know.
Was one of the toughest dudes. If he didn't grow so late, man, if they had him back this year, Brett would be.
He was tough.
Should have reclassed.
Yeah.
I was just glad he was still on the court there. You were talking about coaching your kids. That was one of those ones where he was kind of stuck there in the middle, like you guys were just talking about with Steve. But I didn't know if he was going to play, if he was going to quit, what. And he just, he took it on himself, got in the gym, worked, and ended up starting probably. He started 3/4 of the games his senior year, I'd say.
He's such a great defender, man. He was so tough, man.
Yeah.
So all right. So, but you got Josh. He has a great new transfer from McMinn, and I think he's going to be.
County
he's eligible. County.
Yeah.
So
say what? Oh yeah, county. Yeah.
But I'll let you talk about your team. Obviously, let's start with Cash returning senior. how many points?
Yeah, obviously
he's got to be up there in the all-time scoring.
Yeah,
where is he?
I don't know exactly where he's at. He'll get to 1,000 this season for sure. I don't think he'll catch. All-time leader at Walker Valley is like they're close to 1,800, so I don't think he's getting there. But he'll get a well over 1,000, I would think, if he just has a season like he had last year. But yeah, he's tough. Obviously, Cash coming back, I would say he's on everybody's radar. And then we got Caleb Salzwell, who played a good bit of minutes for us, shooter from the outside, and a couple, Luke Smith and Sam Taylor, the other 2 seniors. Sam was hurt most of the season, so didn't play much last year.
Yeah, Sam's got a lot of grit and toughness too, man.
He's super tough and got a good motor, and he'll just go.
Yeah.
So we're obviously we have a chance to be pretty good. Our junior class, like you said, Landon Shirt coming from McMinn is a big ad. He'll be eligible sometime after Christmas. I don't know the exact date for that, and then.
But Josh, he's really good. Like he started for McMinn, didn't he, for a while?
Yeah, he was starting for them as a sophomore.
As a 10th grader, yeah. And you know how good McMinn was last year.
Was great last year.
No, this dude's good. This dude's a really good player. Yeah,
he's very good. Yeah, he's just a big, strong, athletic guard. And then we got some other junior guys that'll factor in. At this point, like I don't know who's going to be doing what. To be honest with you, we've had 3 days of practice, and but in our sophomore class was really good. They were undefeated freshmen last year, beat Chat Prep in a freshman tournament, which, that Chat Prep team was pretty much the same Chat Prep team that finished in the state semifinals. The state championship game. They only had 2 sophomores that they added into that freshman group. So, we got some guys. It's just we got to figure out where to put them all and who can do what. And the buy-in piece is going to be big with this team, I think. Getting them to – we got a lot of individually talented guys.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get them to be talented as a group.
And it's always hard when you get – most people don't realize, like, that anybody can walk into a gym and figure out the best 2 players who ought to play. It's numbers 4 through 10 is really hard when you've got like depth like you do. And so that's what's
Right.
hard
Yeah. And that's where we are.
and
And a lot of our guys are positionless too, in the sense of like, they play really well with the ball in their hands, but they don't always play really well with the ball out of their hands. So they're good. They're great. Like, hey, if we're going to ISO everybody all the time, good. But that's not realistic in the flow of a game. So, yeah, and I don't want to play that way. I mean, you know, I don't. It's not the style that I want us to play. So, you know, but like figuring out those, like you say, 4 through 10 guys, who's going to be where, and what's our rotations going to look like, what groups play well together, what groups don't. That's the fun part, right? That's what my job is. So, I'm excited about it. I mean, they're fun to be around. They'll get after it. They'll get after each other.
I'm gonna give a PSA to all the players out there. I hope somebody's watching this. If you just buy in, your life is so much easier. Like your team's life is so much easier. Your life is so much easier if you just buy in. Jeez, you got a chance to get more minutes. You got a chance to earn. Like Will said, like it. I just don't understand, and I know a lot of it comes, you know, from you got your classmates ragging on you if you're sitting on the bench, or you got your parents yelling at you in the car on the way home. But man, it's just so difficult to get anything done if you got players that you need that don't buy in. It just makes it harder for everyone.
Like I've always said, if you shoot more, you're going to score more, but it may not be the best thing for your team.
Yeah, and we actually talked about that today in practice. It's funny. It's funny that you bring it up. We were talking about advantages today. You know, like that's what we're working on. Just kind of, hey, we're trying to gain advantages and then exploit those advantages. You know, but we were talking about. I was talking to them about how advantage doesn't look the same for everybody. Like it just doesn't, and that's what they have to start realizing. Like Cash Coates with the ball in his right hand, with 2 defenders on him, is probably still an advantage a lot of times. And he may not kick that ball to that open shooter, but that's okay because he's going to average 20 a game doing that right there. And you got to.
And he's going to go get that. He's going to go get that miss if he misses too. So, but he's going to go get it.
He's getting it, and he's getting a putback probably an and one. You know, so you know, guys are got to understand, like, you know, your advantage and your role is not always the same, and that's what's hard for guys is they see that guy, he doesn't kick the ball, so then they think, well, if he doesn't kick it, I don't need to kick it. Well, yeah, you do, because you're not finishing that, and you know, and that's where. You know, or you got some guys that want to get out on the 3-point line and they don't, you know, I talked about that today too. We got to, you know who you are and what your skill set is. If you're a shooter, then you better shoot it. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting on the bench. You know, that's your advantage. So if you're not using it, then you're not doing us any good. And so that's a big piece of it, I think, is getting guys to like understand their roles, understand their strengths, and not everybody's not created equal on the basketball court. It's just the way it is. So, and that's a tough one to swallow sometimes, I think, as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid, sometimes this guy might just be better than me. So I need to, at that particular thing, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So,
it's that simple.
All right. So schedule wise, who all, now the regions have, maybe explain how the regions have, or the districts have shifted now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, it's a weird year for us. So we had a 7-team district last year. Basically, our region now is what our district was last year, plus East Hamilton. So East Hamilton got added in, and they split our district. So we're 2 4-team districts that then play in the region. So like we're in a district with Cleveland, McMinn, and Ray County, and then Bradley, Ooltewah, East Hamilton, and Howard are in the, I guess, like the southern district.
So are you still playing both?
Like the other side of the state.
They were in our district already, though. They were in our district last year. So, yeah.
So are you playing everybody
there's no real
twice?
good way to get to Ray County.
Yeah, there isn't. Are you playing everybody twice in the region or just on your?
Yeah, no. Like we're not playing Howard, Ooltewah at all.
Yeah.
We're playing East Hamilton once. We're playing Bradley twice because that's a money game. It's
sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's a Friday night. That's a Friday night gate right there. So,
that one.
Yeah, we got to play. We're playing them twice, and they're gonna be really good, I think.
That's what I hear. And there was some frustration on where we ranked them from some viewers out there. So
I imagine, especially if anybody in Bradley County saw your rankings, so they tend to be quite partial. to their
Yeah,
players.
yeah, a lot of objectivity.
I'm going to type Tommy's
yeah,
address in the comments for Bradley Pearson.
Yeah, obviously, Boo Carter, if he ends up playing, would be a little bit of a game changer. We already addressed that a little bit. So
he is he's freaky fast.
He ain't going to play.
But
you know,
I heard
yeah.
he's trying not to. Whether or not he gets his everything in order or not, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm for it. Let him play. Like, let's bring everybody on. It's more fun for me that way. I mean, I like it. You guys know me. I'm not shying away from a challenge. I mean, we may get beat and we may lose, but that's all right. Like, it's that's part of it.
So who else do you have?
Like
You playing? You playing Tyner, aren't you? You go to Tyner.
Tyner. We got Red Bank. Like East Hamilton, we got Hamilton Heights. Silverdale will probably play. We have a chance to play Chat Prep in that Silverdale tournament if we, depending on who wins and loses. But hopefully, we'll get to see them there. I'd like to play them again. Who else do we play around the Chattanooga area? We go up to Knoxville. We play Knox Catholic. We play CAK up there. We play. We got pretty tough. It's pretty tough. We don't have a whole lot of. There's not any games where we just we get the night off tonight, or hey, we can play our bottom guys tonight. I mean, it's going to be pretty much any night we lace them up. It's going to be a tough one. So.
And last year you had some great wins. You beat Notre Dame twice last year.
I tried to get them on the schedule this year, but it just didn't work out. I think I just couldn't get a hold of Jonathan, and by the time he got back with me, we were full. It just kind of didn't work out. But I would have liked to have played them again. We beat them both times. That was tough. They were playing great too. The first time we played them, they weren't playing because it was earlier in the season. But that second time at their place, they were starting to come on, which of course they carried that all the way into the state tournament and had a great run there. And Johnson does a really good job. So,
and you guys were,
and we're supposed to play Boyd too, obviously, but Josh didn't put it on the schedule, so we'll see how that works out. I don't know if we
see how it works out. Thanks,
Josh.
I had nothing to do with the schedule. I was out before scheduling.
Will, we look forward to watching you guys, and good luck. And I know you guys you're going to do a great job. Obviously you're one of the best in the area. So, Josh, any last questions for?
I'm just
Coach
glad
Campbell
that I don't have. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to mess with Cass Coach this year and have to scout for him and all the shooters that you surround. Surround him with.
Hey,
I'm glad. I am gonna miss. Do what? I am gonna miss. Quick. Yeah, tell me.
We run this drill in practice. We run this drill in practice where we shoot 6 minutes, and the goal in it is we're supposed to hit 80 threes in 6 minutes. And we did it on both ends today. We hit 120 on one end and 93 on the other end. Wow. So that was just
Walker Valley might.
So who is the best shooter on Walker Valley's team? Is it Salisville, Cash? Is it the new kid from McMinn? He's got so many guys.
I mean, to be honest, like the best shooter in our program when he's hitting is probably Coleman Green.
Oh, that's right about Big Coleman.
I mean, he can hit 4 or 5 in a hurry. Yeah. But Caleb's got Caleb hit 11 threes his freshman year in a JV game against Ottawa in 2 quarters.
Yeah.
So, he can shoot it. Cash is like 43% career 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
We got a lot of guys that can shoot it. So it's just
where does your eldest son Blake Campbell rank on the all-time shooters at Walker Valley? Where would you put him?
All time since I've been around, the guys that I've been around.
Yeah,
he's
where we rank?
He's 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Sandbagger.
I think he's the best all around. I think, of course, I'm not biased at all.
Where?
I think Blake Campbell's the best all around player ever to come out of Walker Valley High School. That's my opinion.
I think 6'5", 195-pound Blake Campbell right now would be in there. Yeah, but
there is that. That is a great point.
That is his career at Barry's. His career at Barry is definitely making your case stronger, TB.
Oh man, Josh, I wish you could. He's so good, man. He's just so good. He's
I would
just.
tell you what Blake was good at, even at his size in high school, which he got so good by his senior year. He was always so smart, but by his senior year, I didn't. There were times where I would just yell at him on the court, like, "Hey," and he would look at me. He'd be like, "I know, I got it." And then I wouldn't
Yeah,
even. He would just do what I needed him to do without me ever having to say anything. And he got
yeah,
to that point his senior year, probably halfway through, and where I'd tell him a play, and he'd already be reading that back defense. That's for a guard. I mean, that's what you want. Like, don't worry about that defender that's guarding you. I mean, that guy's irrelevant. Like, you're worried about
Yeah.
all the other defenders. And that's where
yeah,
you start making plays. And he was great at that. He had to run point a lot for us his senior year. And
yeah,
and that's where he was really, in my opinion, was probably a lot better than a lot of other guys that have come through there, just
yeah,
mentally. And that's really what, now that his body has caught up to his
yeah.
mind, at Barry, that's a big difference maker for him, I think.
And again, I'm not objective, but I think the guy could play at UTC. I mean, that's how good I think he is right now. I mean, he's really so. But I wish you could see him, Josh. He's so good. So anyway,
I'm about to go check him out this year. I got time.
yeah, no,
Yeah, man.
they'll be. I mean, they'll be up at Blake Campbell, Coach Campbell's eldest son in his 4th year at Barry. They play. I mean, they're so good too, and they play at Marable. They play. Go sit. They're really good, fun to watch. And if people don't realize how good Division III basketball is, I mean, those guys are so good. I mean, it's really,
Well,
and they're
It's just everybody was 2, 3, 4 inches too short coming out of college. That's it.
out of high school, yeah. And now, but they got
out of
3
high
guys.
school.
Yeah, they got 3 guys. I think they could play almost anywhere, Blake, and they're real students. They didn't major in. They're not majoring in plagiarism like you did, Josh. So I mean, they're real. It's in.
I majored in eligibility for real.
Yeah, I just asked him how he was doing, and he said he just turned in his 3rd paper in his writing intensive physics class. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. What is writing intensive physics? I'm like, you're trying to play basketball and taking that kind of stuff. That's a different level of student athlete right there for sure. So,
For real, man. What is that?
I know.
I don't even
I
want to
don't
think.
know.
I don't even want to. I don't even want to like
Physics
think
sounds
about
hard
it.
enough.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even want to try to figure out what it is. So anyway,
I wanted to major in engineering, but then they told me that it wasn't driving trains. So then I decided to go a different direction.
Good call. Good call.
Well, Coach Campbell, we appreciate you, and we'll be hitting you up here later on. So good luck this year, and we look forward to One Valley making it to the big house. So
yeah, that's
Big
it.
dance.
That's it, man.
all right, buddy.
The gold
see you,
ball.
man.
We're gonna hold up the gold ball this year, right?
That's right. See you, buddy.
All right. See you.
See you, Will.
Bye, Josh.
Coach Adams, how you doing, buddy? Coach Adams, a little mute right there. Looks like Coach Adams is walking out of Notre Dame High School right now.
Yes, he is.
That is Notre Dame High School. Kid,
it's Notre Dame.
Now we
I don't
got
know
him.
if I don't know if you want to tell people I'm the head coach. That's not good. So
Coach Adams is. You know what's interesting about you and Josh, Coach Adams, is that y'all really seem like you genuinely like each other, and y'all had the biggest rivalry. Like y'all just had so many wars, and y'all genuinely, like I think Josh was genuinely happy when he lost, but he was upset. That's really kind of a
When we
unique
lost?
relation.
No.
You were genuinely happy for Coach Adams, but like you even told me that last year when something happened. You're like, well, I'm happy for him. That's pretty impressive that y'all have that kind of relationship.
Well, I think the even more impressive part about that our relationship and thing that I valued the most was, we competed at a high level often, and those games were, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 outlier games, those games were 3, 4, 5-point games, and we met in the district championship 4 years in a row. And then, we meet in the region championship, and it was a situation that was genuinely like losing to your brother. and it was one of those situations that it was, we fought like heck. And I told him, and he told me the same thing. It was like, man, we're gonna root for you other than about 5 times a year, but and that was really and what was the coolest part about it was, our players, the opposite team's players loved and respected the coaches as well. It would be all the time after a game, Shockley and those guys would come up and give me a big hug and congratulations, coach, and and same thing with my guys. And it was a situation where we had just won the district championship, and like our student section was getting ready to start chanting something that, or booing or whatever. And our guys were like, don't do that. You know what I mean? And I think that just kind of showed the respect and love that both programs had, even while competing at a super high level.
Yeah. Well, you guys obviously, you got a lot of guys back. I mean, you were picked, we picked you number 4 in our rankings, if you saw those.
3.
So,
no, 4. You're right.
Number 4.
You're right.
And actually, we could have even put you a little higher. So, I mean, you got, I guess Cole McCormick is, you got arguably the best player in the whole area returning. And so, anyway, last year losing the state championship game, and you guys got so much better. My stepsons play for Walker Valley, so I saw you play. Saw you play a couple times, and that first game at Walker Valley you didn't have Cole, but you guys just got so much better as the year progressed. And obviously, I'd watch you against Boyd online against Josh, and y'all just got so much better. What a great coaching job you did. But anyway, talk about your team a little bit. I mean,
well, I appreciate you, and I saw Coach Campbell on before, and now you have me, who is 1/4 of the offensive mind that he is. But
I'm sure he would take the way you guys guard, though. So
it's like a recurring theme on this show is sandbagging.
What's interesting is, and I almost said, when you and Josh played each other, you guys, your teams, I'd be like, first 1 to 40 wins. And
we would say that to each other. It'd be about halftime, and we would walk by and be like, "Hey, whoever gets to 40 might win this game." I mean, and it was, we had, and we laughed about it. And we laughed about it. It was one game we won here, and nobody scored a field goal in the fourth quarter. I think we hit 2.
It was 2-0.
I mean,
and those 2 free throws were with like 11 seconds left.
Yeah,
in the fourth quarter.
I mean, nobody scored. Everybody, I'm burning the play sheet trying to call plays. I didn't know. I mean, I was inventing. I'm calling plays that they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, I mean, just do something. I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly.
I gave up on that one too. I told a couple of our guys, I was like, just go throw yourself into somebody. Try to get to the line.
At this point, just throw it up on the rim and pray we can get a rebound. But it was so those battles really helped shape us. And I was talking with Josh yesterday, and I was telling him I think we both had a really kind of a similar philosophy in that we're going to play the toughest competition possible. We're going to play a hard schedule. And that's going to get us plus we have each other. And we're going to boil our season down to really 3 games for us. The district semifinals, the district championship game for seeding, and that first round of region. And then once you get through there, anything can happen. And we I was telling Josh yesterday, we got the benefit of some matchups, and Good Pasture all of a sudden gets upset in the region, and now Kings, who beat us in the region finals, they get them. It just kind of all worked out on top of us, playing better. But this year, I mean, nothing different. I mean, we're going to be playing a very hard schedule. We got a lot of, we've had really good players, but we've really good star players. But really, the key has been our role guys getting a lot better. And so we got some young guys and some new guys that are kind of stepping into those roles. So we're gonna have a lot of growing pains. Plus, I scheduled Macaulay and Tyner right out of the box. And so
in true
so
Jonathan
we're gonna
Adams
struggle
fashion.
early, but Yeah,
who else do you have on the schedule?
We've got those two. We've got Macaulay again at home. We're playing them home and home. Christian Heritage with Abernathy. Jax Abernathy is coming up and playing us.
Which is the number one team in our rankings, by the way.
Yep. So they're coming to play.
And you've got arguably Jackson Cole are the two best players in the area. Arguably, there's some other guys out there too, obviously.
Yep. I mean, I would put those two at the top of the list. But you got them coming to us. We're going down to Calhoun. We're going to Baylor. We've got Knox Webb coming. So we're not going. We might be 1-10, but we're going to be beyond battle tested. And
which is I so agree with that, Jonathan, because I mean, obviously, you guys got some teams in the district that aren't going to challenge you, and I'll say it, you would never say that, but you got some teams that aren't. They just can't play with you right now. And so you guys have to play a great non-conference schedule because you've got to be tested. So obviously Silverdale is going to be pretty good too, it looks like, right?
Yeah. I right now I would put them as the favorite. I mean, they didn't lose anybody, and you got Kennedy and Brett, but and so that's going to be a tough game. But really, my philosophy is you don't want the first time you see great competition to be in the postseason.
Right.
Because then now all of a sudden you're shocked by that, and then you're going home. Yeah. So when we kind of matched up with these teams in the state tournament, every team at that point's really good, but we've played really good teams. We've had to battle Josh and those guys 58 times in the last 5 years. In high pressure games. We've had to go to Webb. We've had to go to ECS. We've played Good Pasture 4 times in the state. So, that's just kind of the philosophy, really.
Who all will be ranked now in Middle Tennessee? I mean, is CPA's moved up? Who beat you in the state championship last year? It was
Good Pasture.
All right, so Good Pasture, obviously they're gonna be still good, right? I mean,
they're gonna still be, and they lose Isaiah West, but they'll still be good.
And then
that's a big loss at point, though.
Yeah, you got
West had a great game last year.
And we talked about it yesterday, Josh. I really gained a respect for him that I didn't have after we played him. I knew he was obviously he's an SEC guard, so I knew he was a good player. But you guys know the college guards play at a different pace. And they play and they control the game at when you have a really good one. And he did that. He didn't force anything. He played at his own speed. We couldn't speed him up. I mean, it took 2 minutes for me to realize, okay, he's definitely an SEC guard. He hurt us more than Cameron Jones did 2 years ago, who's Marquette's leading scorer or second leading scorer, and he scored 5 points against us. But Isaiah West, lit us up. I mean, he's the real deal. He's the real deal.
When we played Cam Jones, Tom, somebody came up to me after the game and they're like, "Man, just imagine if that guy played hard." I was like, he's too busy playing well. Like he's just playing with base. Like that's
he's doing his deal.
That level play.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Let's talk about Cole McCormick. I've seen Cole 2 or 3 times, and I'm so impressed with his toughness. I'm so impressed with his grit, and maybe talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, Cole is a kid that is ultra competitive. He's a kid that loves the game of basketball and is always trying to figure out a way to get better. He is a kid that has allowed me to coach him hard, and hold him accountable. And that, like I was telling Josh yesterday, really has been the biggest key to our team. Before him was Tim Vaughn. And now, Cole McCormick, and both of those guys allowed me to be hard on them and took hard coaching and really found ways to get better. And he's just an ultra competitor. I mean, if he has to, sacrifice a little bit on offense because, he has to guard Dre, or he has to try to guard, whoever we play, Brett or Kennedy or whatever, he's going to do that. If he's also our best playmaker. I think Josh would probably agree. I think his most underrated and to us best skill is his playmaking ability. Everybody sees his scoring ability, but his passing ability, just is second to none, and it really has helped us in so many different ways. And that offense at UAH, he's going to be a nightmare to deal with because of that ability.
Yeah, he's a steal for Alabama Huntsville. And I tell you what, I mean, when your best player works the hardest, that you're in for a great year. You really
that's another
are.
recurring theme that's been on with all these coaches.
Yeah, and so, like Brad. Go ahead, Jonathan. But Brad, Brad Stevens says if your best player doesn't work hard, how good do you think you're going to be? I mean, and there's a lot to that statement. So anyway.
Well, and I gave Josh this example yesterday of the type of kid he is. We're running. We do a 2-mile test at the end of our preseason, and we do a 2-mile test. And really, running 2 miles really doesn't have anything to do with basketball. It's really just a toughness deal. And we run the 2-mile, and there's a kid who is struggling to finish, and Cole goes back and runs another lap with that kid and finished. And he had already finished. And I was like, man, that tells you, everybody else is looking at that. And it wasn't like he was doing it for attention. Nobody was out there but us. He just went and did it because he saw a kid who, wasn't a great basketball player, but was out there busting his tail. He saw that and was like, you know what, I'm gonna help that kid finish. And that's from a kid whose future is already secure and doesn't have to do it, but that's the kind of kid he is.
That's awesome.
Those kind of habits tend to secure your future.
Yeah.
Well, it tends, and well, you guys are better coaches than me anyway, but they tend to make you look a lot better than what you really are. You know what I mean? Having Cole and having Tim, I'm like, everybody's giving me this credit. And I'm like, I mean, it's pretty good when you go out there and say, Cole, take over for me. I mean,
so. Jonathan, you're really, really good. You really
Sandbagger.
So.
I appreciate
so
you.
Coach Adams, we appreciate you being on, man.
Hey, one thing. I got to know this.
Yeah.
Losing Ben Houston last year was big, I think. Or, him and Kenny did a great job in the state championship. Your seniors did good. Ben Houston was like an X factor for you. Who are you looking forward to stepping up this year?
It's a good question.
Kind of taking on that X factor role.
And you and I talked about that with Ben, that was really the key to our turnaround. When he
said that before the season, I was like, he's the guy.
You did. He's the guy. And for us, I think that's going to be a kid named Maximo. He's a sophomore. He played JV last year. Really skilled kid. Reminds me a lot of Ian, actually. Just skilled, makes big shots. If he can do what Ian did, what you did for Ian, a lot of people, and I'm gonna brag on you because you won't do it, but the biggest thing that you did with that team was their toughness, because they had the skill, and then you bring them in, and now all of a sudden Ian ain't backing down from Derwin. He ain't backing down from nobody. He's back, he's in, and you guys went to another level. So if Maximo can have that kind of transformation, and his toughness, his mental toughness, especially, and his ability to guard, which you guys know we're going. That's what our staple. If he does
gotta
that,
guard if you play at Notre Dame, or you ain't gonna play.
Yeah, or you're gonna sit down. So, if he does that, I think he really can be the X factor for our team.
Love it.
Well, good deal. Well, you guys, we look forward to watching you this year, and congrats on all your success. And hopefully we'll bring that gold. Was it the gold ball? What is it, Josh? I don't even know what it is.
Gold ball.
Yeah, we need the gold. The silver is cool.
Chattanooga needs a gold ball again. Boys
we
basketball.
Need one. We need one, and it's been a long time.
So Jonathan, let's talk about, as your playing career. Josh, do you know he was a pretty good player, right?
Yeah, kind of good.
Kind of good. So in this area, since you've been around, how many years have you been now in the area? I mean, how many years have you been coaching now and living? I mean, how long have you been around Chattanooga basketball area?
Well, from playing about, I guess, counting from high school, 19 years. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about who are the best players, because I'm older than you, and Brandon Bourne, who was our legend in the games, is a little younger than me. Who have been the best players in your 18 years of being
Well, you know,
around?
what's funny, you bring Brandon up. I'm from Ringgold. My mom played at Ringgold High School, and Brandon is a Ringgold legend, of course. But if I had to say my top five that I saw or played against, um, you know, that I was like, in high school for, younger would have been like Harris Walker and those guys.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Jason Harwada. I'm gonna go.
There's a
I'm
now.
gonna
What
go.
year did he graduate? That's
He
another
graduated
Power 5 guy.
2001.
2000 or 2001, I think.
Okay, played at Vanderbilt. Yeah.
So Jason Harwada. I'm gonna go with Jake Scogan.
That's another name, I mean, he played at Mercer,
Tennessee
obviously.
Temple.
I mean,
represent.
he led the country
that's
in
another
scoring.
one.
He's got to be on any list. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought one name that a lot of people don't really remember that was so tough. I'm gonna say Bo Brown. Bo Brown was really
McMinn
tough.
Central High School, McMinn Central. Bo, we tried to get Big Bo at, I don't know, I might have been at Bluefield then, but anyway, yeah, Bo Brown could play. Yeah.
Bo Brown could play. A guy that I thought was tough as nails and could really score it was Justin Hare from Bradley.
Yep. Yeah.
And then man. And then I'm gonna throw a name at you that I just really kind of dominated that I thought was Charles Little from Cleveland.
Yeah.
Dayton.
Played at the University of Dayton. He just he had 50 and 30 in the region championship game. I mean, if you do that, you got to be on my top five. Now, there's a lot of other great players that that kind of came through that time, but I feel pretty good about that five right there.
That's so good, because obviously younger your era, so that's pretty cool, man. Those are guys that could all really play.
They could go.
Yeah,
and,
man. Yeah,
so.
no doubt.
Well,
Jonathan, I hope you will be.
When I was in college, we'd play 2-on-2s and 3-on-3s with Jake Scogan, and it was always like me and him, and he used to make me so mad. This high school kid just dropping buckets.
Well, and you guys,
there wasn't nothing you could do with him. He shot the ball like back here.
And you guys know this because being who you guys are, but I would come up to the schoolhouse in Cleveland, and now all of a sudden, and for people that don't know the schoolhouse, that's a rec center in Cleveland, and you would look on the court, and it's me, and it's Charles Little, and it's Jawan Smith, and it's Justin Hare, and it's Alfonso Pugh. And then when that got done, we would go to the outdoor court at Lee and play till the lights went off. I mean, we were there, 8 hours, 10 hours.
Sometimes Josh, we'd look out of those outdoor courts at Lee, and you'd see those guys out there. You're like, man, this is unbelievable. So
I look back at that and I'm like, man, we had 10, 11, 12, Division I, Division II guys out on the court, and it was just like a normal Saturday. I mean,
that was nuts. So, well, Jonathan, hopefully you'll be a recurring guest for this podcast we got going, and good luck, and we'll be watching you. And hey, seriously, man, what a honor it is for kids to be able to play for a guy like you. Good dude, man, Jonathan.
Well, I appreciate you guys, man, and I love what you guys are doing for the city of Chattanooga and for the kids. This is awesome, too awesome. And for people that don't know who you two really are, you guys are legends. I've known you my whole life. I am thankful for you guys. Josh, love you, brother. Appreciate you for these 5 years, and you guys are awesome, man. I appreciate you guys so much.
All right. Thanks, Jonathan. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing what y'all do.
See y'all. Pray. All right. See y'all. Appreciate you,
buddy.
All right. See
you. Yo, Josh, there you go. Think of all these guys, these coaches we just interviewed. I mean, you and I are so relaxed. We're sitting there chilling out. We're media. we don't have to worry about a press break. We don't have to worry about our schedule. We don't have to worry about, it's this kind of nice to be a part of this.
I don't have to worry about another coach learning about the shooter that I got that they didn't know I had.
And so, like, genuinely, all these guys, I think they know in their soul they're going to be really good, but they're just thinking about what all could go wrong too. And so, because that's what
it's kind of sad. That's the nature of the profession, though.
It is,
because it's like we're all fixers. We're all trying to do this thing, and usually Murphy's Law happens during a season at least a couple times. What can go wrong will.
I'm telling you,
it's the resilient ones that keep it going.
The worst time to coach is this time too, because you got so much stuff you got to do. You're gonna be
little time,
and nobody's gonna be good at what they do early.
Yeah,
and it's just so hard. So, well, brother, great time. Appreciate everybody that listened and everything. This was a lot of fun, and we'll see you next Wednesday for our second episode. We'll get this cranking out. Hey, Josh, make sure everybody subscribes on YouTube or wherever they're listening.
Yes,
and gives us 5 stars. Reshare it, and I think this was a great first time. So, there you go.
Coming back at you Wednesday with some more interviews.
There you go.